working families.
The second community consisted of Russian Jews who immigrated to China mostly to escape the Communist Revolution in 1917. Although not as affluent as the Baghdadi Jews, they also had a rich community life.
Don't let it get the best of you.
The second one grew up parallel, but not identical or mixed with the tribe. They were separate and unequal.
In 1937, he began war to attack the Chinese garrisons in the outskirts of China, and which from that time began the Sino-Japanese War.
In the Sino-Japanese War of 1937, the Japanese conquered large parts of China, including Shanghai.
As it turned out, that was the only avenue of escape, Shanghai without papers. All you needed really was a passage on a ship.
And what is not widely known, in 1938, before the beginning of the war, you could get out of Dachau. You could leave the country. And of course, if you could have left the country, you wouldn't have gotten smuggled into Belgium. So he was in Dachau for about 20 days. And during that time, my mother found out that you could go to the Japanese-occupied portion of Shanghai without a visa.
One did not need a visa to come to Shanghai, but that is wrong, because visas were indeed required in order to purchase a ship ticket. Passport control, however, after July 1937, was no longer in Chinese hands. As a matter of fact, nobody controlled passports, because the foreign powers did not want to control passports, because then the Japanese would have said, we want to control passports, and the foreign powers did not want the Japanese to control passports of foreigners, and therefore nobody controlled passports.
She decided to buy steamship tickets for Shanghai. How did she have the money? It wasn't that easy either. We had money, but the bank accounts were frozen. However, we were allowed to draw household expenses from our own monies. So my mother inflated as much as she was able to what she needed and was very frugal on spending it. But she did go and get the steamship tickets for leaving on the Hakusaki Maru, a Japanese steamer, the following February from Naples, Italy.
My father was always very careful with money. He had money put aside. Most of that went for bribing the NYK line people to give us tickets, because if we hadn't gotten out by the middle of May, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
I remember my grandfather, it's also one of those things that sits in your ear, you hear it. He used to say to a Fufshin, called a Fufshin, "4 means to the skin, very big in the kid." And Fufshin said, yeah, take him out and get him out.
On my mother's birthday, which was December 5th, 6 o'clock in the morning, the bell rang. And at that time, if you had a bell ring at any hour, but particularly at an ungodly hour, you might say, it did not sound too good. And I remember all of us huddling in the little hallway as my mother opened the door, and there was my father. He had come home from Buchenwald. With much trepidation, she told my father, "We're not waiting for a United States visa. I got tickets to go to Shanghai." And she expected him to make a big fuss, and all he said was, in today's vernacular, "We had left yesterday, it wouldn't be soon enough."
We left Germany in 1939 in May. And we said goodbye to my grandparents. It was chaos. My mother was screaming, my aunt was screaming. They were very volatile. And it was terrible, awful. And the Germans never came out to say goodbye. They watched from behind the curtains. We could see them. They didn't come out. They knew my mother since she was a little girl. They didn't come out. They didn't say anything. They were really terrified, and also probably glad to see us leave.
Oh, the translation, that was the whole family. And this was, this I see it like you're sitting in front of me. I see it like you're sitting in front of me. On the Anhalter Bahnhof in Berlin, everybody, Bruno, Omisosha, Adam, Yetik, the cousins, Judith, Margot, all names today are, it's a long time ago, but a lot of people. And they're all gone.
So I had to say goodbye to Anna Marie, my girlfriend, and all of that. But I give talks in schools, and I talk about Anna Marie, especially to the age group, the 9-year-olds, the 10-year-olds. And I always talk about Anna Marie, and I always say, well, if you ever hear about anyone called Anna Marie Wallenberg, let me know. And I get letters from them. And one little girl wrote a letter back, and she said, don't worry if you don't find Anna Marie. When you go to heaven, you'll find her there. When the train reached the Italian border, and the Gestapo came on board the train, and my mother telling me, I want you to be very quiet, don't say a word, don't look up, don't move, don't ask for anything, just sit. And funny how kids sometimes know that it's really serious business. I was 8 years old, and I did just that. So I remember the Gestapo coming aboard the train to check papers, but I didn't see faces because I was looking down. My mother told me not to look up, and all I saw was black boots marching back and forth, and then saying papiere, papers, the passports, and whatever else was needed, the permission. And they went through the whole train, and after they got it from everybody, they left the train, and the train started again and crossed the border into Italy. And everybody cheering and clapping, and somehow they had champagne corks popping. We were out of Germany.
Shanghai became a real option for those Jews who had no place to go. And they scrambled to buy all the luxury ship tickets to go to Shanghai because that was the only way you could go at that point.
Got on the ship, that was a Kashima Maru, and it was weird because it looked like a pleasure cruise with the streamers and the music, the orchestra, Japanese snappy orchestra. We thought we were on holiday, my sister and me. I was 9 and she was 11. So we had fun. We had a stewardess who was assigned to take care of us, and they gave us little cakes and little dolls, and we had tea parties.
We took a ship in Naples, a Japanese ship by the name of Hakusan Maru, and it was a beautiful 4-week trip, long, beautiful trip